Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1432, 1432, and I'm Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Café Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, where it is still relatively cool at the moment, but it is going to be very, very uncharacteristically hot here in the Bay Area. I'm not looking forward to that. But then whine, and moan. But seriously, nobody has air conditioning here in the Bay Area because
Mike's Daily Podcast.
We always seem to have that nice, cool air coming off the bay, but today, tomorrow, definitely not.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
But I talked to someone yesterday while I was walking Basil the Boxer, and this person was someone who was a talker, and we talked about podcasts, and he didn't know what they were, so I had to go with the flow and go. I told him what a podcast was, and I think I explained that.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's a recording that people do. Either it's taken off of a radio show, or
Mike's
they do it at
Daily
a restaurant like I'm at right now.
Podcast.
Café Anyway, really.
Yeah!
Anyway. I said anyway. Oh.
Anyway.
Thank you. Yeah, so good. I've talked to someone else and introduced them to podcasts. People, it's not, for some reason, it's not a concept people can easily understand, believe it or not. I know you're a big podcast fan, but some people it's not they can't grasp it. Look who just walked in. Speaking of grasping that door handle and walking in. Just now.
Hello, Michael Master. It's Madame Rootabega, and yes, I am here today on Friday.
Friday, yes, it's hot. I see you're dressed down to very little clothing.
That's right, Michael Master. Does this have some sort of effect on you?
No. Yes. What's the appropriate answer? Awkward. Look who else walked in.
Hello, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we don't like it. The hot heat day.
Yeah. Although I get to wear my favorite tank top. Do you know that?
Oh, your favorite tank top. Wonderful. Guys, listen. I want to make sure that Café Anyway is the perfect place for everyone to be, even though we don't have air conditioning, and it's going to be, hot as balls? And by balls, I mean, of course, soccer balls, which are on the hot soccer field that people can...
And here's today's podcast picture.
To and fro, back and forth. Who just kicked a soccer ball through our window here? Anyway, that window should have been opened anyway, because we need more air. The Café Anyway podcast picture today is not of Café Anyway. In fact, it is of the wonderful Pacifica Beach area. I have not been there in many years. In fact, this picture was from 2010. But I saw it this morning and I was like, I think this is nice. It's kind of cooling looking at this picture. Whereas I hear, though, this particular spot is going to be about 101 tomorrow, which to me, I just want to say...
Are you crazy? No way, fool.
I know. It's insane how that can be that hot.
You've got to be kidding me.
I know. It is really amazing. So, what do you have to say about it, Paul Ryan?
I think part of what is happening, I think Democrats are lighting their hair on fire to get you to cover this story, to try and keep repeating the same story.
Oh, no, they're letting their hair on fire because it's just hot, and their hair is spontaneously combusting. It's what it is. I told the guy yesterday that he was about to listen to the podcast. I go, be careful, there's a lot of sound effects. It's like a total sound effect fest, as I have presented to you. At any rate, remember last week I was talking about going to 21st Amendment, the beer place, and having a beer with Kevin, who used to do Addendum with Kevin with me here on Mike's Daily Podcast. And we talked to this guy from Boston who had driven a truck from Boston to here, an older guy, quite the alcoholic, drinking quite a lot of beer, makes his own alcohol at home, has a still at home in Boston. And he was talking to us about the homeless situation. He goes, oh yeah, the homeless situation in Boston is bad. You think you got it bad here in the Bay Area? Oh, it's bad in Boston. But Boston, the weather is so bad. It's really bad for homeless people. There, you're homeless. Here, they say, you know, I'm homeless. You're not homeless, you're camping, is what he said. Which, I guess his point is it's so warm. But, you know, the alternative, we don't have the... I guess we have some pretty cold temperatures here. But on the opposite end, it's going to be hot for the homeless this weekend. And there are actually going to be some cooling areas set up at local convention centers around the Bay Area. Cooling centers to cool you down. They have cooling centers in Las Vegas. They're called casinos. Oh my God, I just want to... Folks, that's the end of the first part of the show. Now let's get to the second part, where we're going to have a news segment, which I have in the back of my mind that I think I'm going to call the MIKELOPEDIA INSANICA. How about that? Because it's insane what's going on. So I will tell you about that. It's coming up in just a moment. But first, Mike'sDailyPodcast.com is a wonderful place to go where you can hear all the past shows. You can help out the show through the Amazon link. Click on that and buy whatever it is you're going to buy, and that helps us out. And there's also the PayPal, too, if you'd like to help us out that way. Thank you very much. You'll get a special greeting from all the Café Anyway characters, and you'll become an inglorious Mike's Daily podcaster. And, oh my gosh, someone just walked in. Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley. Let's be on our best behavior. We want to totally be as nice as possible. And they just left. Shoot. And I think they took a picture, too, which they're going to post online. And it's going to be a negative review. Oh, wait, I just got a... Even though in my cartoon yesterday I said that I was no longer going to be on Instagram because hackers hacked into Instagram and stole people's contact information and nude photos of Justin Bieber. And I said I was going to no longer be on Instagram.
Oh, snap.
And I won't be on Snapchat either. But here, let me look at... Anyway. Oh, yeah, someone did post a picture of Café Anyway. Oh... It says, the caption underneath says...
That's terrible.
No. They don't like Café Anyway. Well, the point being... I don't know what the point was, but thank you for coming to Café Anyway by listening to the show. Let's get to the segment now called...
The MIKELOPEDIA INSANICA.
Is that why you're bald, Mike?
All right. I think that's the name of the segment. At any rate, what we're going to do is tell you about... First off, this is not the best news to hear, that there's a new hurricane brewing in the Atlantic, and she's a monster, apparently. It's Irma. Yeah, I hope Irma mellows out by the time it gets to landfall. It's packing 115 mile per hour winds at the moment and strengthening rapidly. It was declared a Category 3 hurricane just before 5 p.m. This was yesterday? Today. What? It's not 5 p.m. yet. And was heading west at 12 miles per hour, picking up speed. At the time, it was about 3,000 miles southeast of Miami. It's expected to be extremely dangerous hurricane in the next several days. A National Hurricane Center spokesperson said... The rapid intensification of Irma's strength caught everybody's attention at their headquarters in Miami. The good news is we have lots of time to watch this develop. It's at least 5 or 6 days away from touching any land. And by land, he means the easternmost island in the Caribbean Sea. The last major storm named Irma appeared in the Atlantic back in 1978, and it never made it to the U.S. coast. Tropical storm Irma, October 5th of 1978, came within 500 miles of the Azores. But now back to the pressing problems at hand about the Hurricane Harvey. The water was leaving, but across southeast Texas yesterday, new dangers. Oh, that was yesterday, that 5 p.m. yesterday, obviously. That they heard about Irma. New dangers kept appearing in Hurricane Harvey's wake. In Crosby, the northeast of Houston, loud pops were heard coming from a chemical plant where safety systems were flooded, and authorities said an explosion could be imminent. In Beaumont, of 118,000 people were without drinking water after floods disabled the city's system. For most of them, there was no easy way out of a town that now felt like more of an island. The city was surrounded by swollen rivers and bayous cutting off most roads. 40 miles to the southwest, in Anahuac, the employees of an alligator farm circled their flooded property in boats with guns at the ready. There were 350 alligators inside, and their pens were flooding, and they're very close to getting out. Environmental Protection Agency planes sniffed for toxic chemical releases. Below there was flood water that authorities warned could contain pollutants and pathogens. In between, there were authorities and regular people trying to find order and supplies in landscape totally changed by the massive storm. That, according to the Washington Post. So the U.S. House will most likely vote on the first phase of emergency relief money for Hurricane Harvey in mid-September, as we are here at the beginning of September 1 today. After returning from summer recess, the initial down payment would replenish Federal Emergency Management Agency funds, FEMA funds, used in the immediate aftermath of the massive storm that flooded parts of Houston, with more than 50 inches of rain. The House and Senate are set to return to Washington September 5th. That is going to be on Tuesday. Energy Secretary Rick Perry. You know, he was governor of Texas for 15 years. Here we have term limits in California. How did he get to be governor for 15 years? Jerry Brown's got to be out. Let's see, he's been governor for 7, I think it'll be 8 years altogether. So that's crazy. They got no term limits in Texas. I've got and he took over when Bush became president. W. Bush. I've got every confidence that Congress will deal with this in a timely manner, he said. But he had no idea how much money will be needed. He was talking from the Air Force 2 and sort of sitting off to the side on a chair looking really casual and comfortable and sure that everything was going to be fine. Well, I hope he's right. It's been years since we got a Moto X, but Lenovo hasn't forgotten about Motorola's one-time flagship. Motorola unveiled the 4th generation model at IFA in Berlin. It's not the Moto X you remember. For one, it's among the few smartphones out there with built-in support for Amazon's Alexa. And did you hear that Microsoft and Amazon are going to be working together, joint venture, helping each other out as they are trying to beat the Mac, Apple people, iPhone people, and stuff. It's part of an even more exclusive club of devices that just let you speak to her the way you'd speak to an Echo. Motorola confirmed that it was working on Alexa-capable devices at this year's Mobile World Congress. The differences don't end there. Remember how you could use Moto Maker to turn earlier models into devices that were uniquely yours? Well, no, I don't remember that at all. Article from Engadget. Well, that's over. The X4 comes in any color you want, as long as it's black or bluish gray. While not customizable, the X4's aluminum and Gorilla Glass body is rated IP68 for water and dust resistance. Okay. And we're done with that. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. I guess I'm not smart enough to read Engadget articles. And then this quick little headline, 49ers say that Coldplay will likely blow Levi's Stadium's curfew and future concerts are at risk. Oh my gosh. I want something just like this. Clock screwed up, ba-da-doo-doo-wah. Balls. And then, what was the big Coldplay song? And it was all yellow. I just thought it was the funniest thing when they played the Super Bowl. They're such not a Super Bowl band. and I can fix you. But yeah, the big one is the one they did with Chainsmokers lately. Haley's last day at my job is today. Last day. Well, he's going to be there part-time, but I wanted to do this little tribute to Haley. Haley, you're the best. And you need to go back and listen to all the shows I did with Haley when Haley and I were both here in the morning at Café Anyway, early morning. This was the year 1908 when that was. No, it was 2015 through 2016. We were every morning talking to each other, having the strangest conversations. But I intend to meet up with Haley. Haley's going back to school, and I and Basil the Boxer, we will meet up with him and do a daily Haley with him at some point. So Marco last week revealed that he will be taking over Haley's part of the job that he's doing at my work, and so we'll see Marco still. Jarrell Name, we hope to get to him soon. Maybe down the road somewhere we'll get to addendum with Kevin again. I don't think we're going to do a Welsh on the World, although it will be Welsh's birthday. I'm talking about Robert Owen Welsh. His birthday is coming up. I'm celebrating it on Sunday with him and a bunch of people. And I still don't know what to get him for a present. If you have an idea, please call me. 336MM-DAILY. That's 336MM-DAILY. Or you can email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. If you didn't get that, there's the lovely Ariel who is going to tell you in a moment. And I'm going to see Ariel's parents in a couple weeks after I get back from Florida. I'm looking forward to that, and I hope I don't get hit by a hurricane while I'm in Florida, although at this point it doesn't look too good. And that's pretty much it. I hope to do a show on Sunday, so maybe talk to you then. If this was your first time listening, I hope this was a whiz-bang experience. If not, my name's Mark Maron, and I used to be an alcoholic. Have a good day.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!